Displaying your open hands, you ask to see the spectator's watch. As they hand the watch to you, you draw the focus to the face of the watch. And as you're both looking at the face of the watch, the second hand stops. The watch can then be handed back to the spectator to be examined. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you liked my little teaser, my little trailer for this tutorial. Some of you may do an effect like this, or maybe the exact same thing, or maybe you've figured it out by now. So let's get into it and I'll show you how to do this effect. Alright, so a little history behind this effect first before I go into the tutorial. This effect came into my life about 15 or so years ago when I got into magic. When I got into magic, I first worked at a magic store. Bugged them so much that they finally gave me a job. We did similar effects like this, but you couldn't walk around doing it like out on the street or out in the mall where I worked. You could do it sitting down, but there are effects doing this where you use, if you know the Raven, or there's even bigger ones than the Raven that I used to carry around in my pocket, and you can only do it when you sit down. This came because us in the magic store, we wanted to do the same effect walking around, where you could do it short sleeves, where you could do it, you know, you first show your hands empty. And then we ended up finding something really small to use, and this is what I'm talking about here. This right here is the gimmick used in Stop. And you probably can't even see it from there, but this is the gimmick. So let's get into the tutorial and we'll talk about how this works. So using this gimmick, this is a really small magnet. Where you can find these at, I found this at actually in the mall at a place called Claire's, and I think they even have an online store if you can Google them. But if you go to a local mall or somewhere close by, what these are magnet earrings. You probably have seen these. You have one side that's the metal and then the magnet goes on the back and it looks like you have a pierced ear, but they're magnet earrings. Go to your mall, look for a place called Claire. Seeing if there's a website on here, but not on here. But I think that they do have a website. You can probably find them somewhere in your town, in the mall or somewhere else. Walmart maybe. Just try and look for the magnetic earrings. And they have these little small backs, little magnets. So what you do here, you can carry this around if you have a metal belt buckle. This will go right on the metal belt buckle. Or if you don't have a metal belt buckle, like right now I'm wearing a plastic belt, you can put something on the inside of your pocket or back pocket, or even if you have metallic something on your pants, you stick it right to that. So if you don't have anything metallic, find a little paper clip or something metal you can stick in your back pocket where you can slap this little tiny magnet on as you're going out to do this. So what you do is when you walk up to somebody and you are going to do some magic for them, you can either roll up your sleeves, whatever you want to do. And now you know why you can do it without long sleeves, or you don't have to hide anything. I mean, this is so small you don't even pay attention to this. So what you do is you go up to the person. You don't say, "Look, my hands are empty." You don't want to draw too much attention, because all you're doing is just saying, "Hey, can I borrow your watch? You know, let me show you something. Can I borrow your watch?" And you guys can make up your own pattern for this. You can do it with the haunted deck. If you're doing the haunted deck and you say, "Oh, let me show you something else. Let me see your watch." So what you do is you have the magnet on. Let me see your watch. And then when they go for their watch, that's a little misdirection, because they're not looking at you at that time, because they go down to take off their watch. Now, as they're doing that, you keep one hand up and you drop the other hand to your side where your magnet is. And you just slide the magnet off of wherever you have it, on the belt buckle or the back. And now it's pinched between your fingers. And you can even not even have your fingers all the way pinched. You can have it a little above, just concealing it from their sight so they can't see the magnet. But I usually just pinch it. So I bring it forward as they give me the watch. I keep my hand down to the side as they give me the watch. And right when they give me the watch, I bring my hand up and I put the magnet on the back of the watch, and then after you put it on the back of the watch, you just grip it. So let me just show you kind of what this would look like. I grabbed my wife's watch here. So can I see your watch? You know, as they hand it to you, then you come up and you just put the magnet right on the back there. And you got to be careful of noise. Try and get it to the side of the watch where you can touch the magnet to the watch itself and then slide it on. Because if you get it too close, it might just snap right up on, they'll hear it. And then from there, the magnet's attached to the back of the watch. Now it's just a matter of finding the spot where it stops. Make sure you get a new make sure you're using newer ones, because as the finish comes off of these magnets, it can make noise as it's sliding around on their watch. Some watches are easier to do than others. You kind of experiment with what watches you use, and then once it's on there, you don't even have to, I mean, you can keep your fingers away from what they think would stop the second hand, and you just kind of keep a little pressure on the watch with part of your finger, and then the magnet's in front of that so you can slide it, because if you just put your finger on the magnet and slide it, you'll hear it. You want a little bit of pressure right behind the magnet, and as you're sliding it, they can't hear it. You won't hear the sound of the magnet sliding. So now you just slide it to where you find where it stops, and as the tension's drawn there, they're wondering what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden the second hand just stops. It might twitter there for a second, and then right when you move the magnet off that spot, then the thing will start ticking again. And then what you do to hand it back is you grab the magnet right under your finger, and you go to hand it to them, and as they take it, you just slide that magnet right off like that. And that's how simple that is. And as they're looking at the watch after you did the effect, you just slap the magnet right back on and ditch it onto your metal piece, onto your belt, whatever you want to do, wherever you're storing this, and then the effect's done. So again, it's Claire's magnetic earrings. I'm sure there are other brands, but this is the brand that I've used. Now let's get into some cautions here. Some watches do not work. Like this one right here that I was demonstrating with. This watch right here does not work. As you saw in the trailer, the one in the trailer did, but this has a really deep face for the magnet to, the magnetic field doesn't get all the way through to the part that makes it tick. So this watch, I couldn't find the spot exactly where it would do that. You also maybe don't want to do this effect to more expensive watches. You can. I haven't had any issues with using more expensive watches. People that have more expensive watches might, you know, be a little more hesitant to give you their watch in the first place, or even after, let's say you put a little nick on it. You know, not saying that you will experiment with this, but people in the past I've talked to that have done similar effects with other kind of magnets were afraid that you might break the watch, but I haven't found that to be true. If you hear that a magnet can kind of hurt the watch, I don't think it can. I never have seen it. But just be cautious that maybe it can happen, maybe it has happened. But every watch that I've ever done this to, it has never damaged the watch in any way. The second hand stops, and then it goes again. So that's called stop. I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you guys have any more ideas of what you could do in the comments section below, you can let me know. But I hope you guys like this tutorial. It's something I've been doing for about 15 years now, like I said. And I get pretty great results from it, and it's just something fun because you're in short sleeves, or your sleeves are rolled up, and there's nothing else around except you, a watch, and the spectator. At least they don't know about this part. That is stop. I hope you guys like this tutorial, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We got more of my HD decks coming up here, and more 3-year-old magic, and more, you know, lots of fun stuff coming up. Another giveaway coming up in 3 weeks. Very excited about it. Got some good news about that too. Just stay tuned for that. And I thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys like this, and we'll see you guys next time on White Arts Magic.